Baby, it's not you, it's me. Today we're going to talk about how true that statement really is. My name is Simran and I make lifestyle and advice videos based off of my life experiences. If you're new here, I hope you will hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to hear more about whether or not it's time for you to leave your relationship. Now, if you're questioning your relationship, the question that you're trying to really answer is why? Why am I having these doubts? And even if things seem like they're going perfectly well, you may be feeling the sense of just something isn't clicking, something isn't right, and maybe that's what you're here exploring. So something that I want to emphasize is that our romantic relationships tell us so much about ourselves. I've heard that if you don't address your childhood traumas, your romantic relationships will. And to an extent, this is extremely true. If you're sensing a sense of doubt in your relationship, more than likely it is not because of your partner, but it's because you need to ask yourself a lot of questions. And that's what we're going to get into today, is asking yourself some questions that may be a little bit hard for you. Now, this isn't supposed to be a 5-step, like, oh, these are the 5 signs you need to look for to like end your relationship. No, that's not what this video is for. If that's what you came for, I think you should just like leave right now, because in this video, I'm going to be asking you to answer a lot of questions that maybe you haven't had the chance to address, maybe you've been avoiding addressing, or maybe you even haven't like had the chance to think about. Now, one of the first things I'm gonna ask you to think about requires you to throw it back, and I'm not talking about that ass, I'm talking about your memory, okay? We're gonna go back to your origin story of your relationship. I'm talking about origin story, I'm really talking about like the very first time that when you and your partner got together. Like, you know, this is like the fun stuff, the romantic stuff, when they're really like, you know, pursuing you and you're really into them, like all that fun stuff where it's like the honeymoon stage. We all remember the honeymoon stage, right? But some questions that I really want you to explore is like, even though you're in this honeymoon stage and everything must have been like, you know, roses and daisies, aside from that, have a very critical view of this and take your memory back and think about your mental state. What mental state were you in when you entered this relationship? Were you stable mentally? Were you going through a breakup and this was like, you know, another relationship that you hopped into too quickly? Was there a major transition happening in your life? Maybe you were moving different, like, you know, to college, or maybe you were going across town, or maybe there's a death in your family. Like, you know, there could be a lot of different factors that were happening at your life, and maybe we forget that sometimes, but I want you to take it back and really think about what was going in your life when you first met with your partner. The reason I want you to do this is because your mental stability, what your life transitions, and most importantly, your age. I really want you to consider how old you were when this happens. All plays a factor in terms of what we prioritized and what we needed at that point in life. And remember at the beginning of this video, I said that our relationship tells us so much about ourselves. That's because our relationships are a reflection of who we are. Our partners are a direct reflection of what we believe we deserve. So think about that. Especially if it's been years, if it's been months, if it's been weeks, whatever the case is, however long it's been, think about the mental state that you were then and think about the mental state that you are currently in and see if that matches. See if it's aligning with what you need right now. Now, if you're liking what I have to say so far, please give this video a thumbs up, and if not, feel free to give it a thumbs down just so I know what you guys are into. Once you've had the chance to think about your origin story, the next thing that I want you to really think about are your morals and values. Now, when it comes to this, think about your morals and values when you first started your relationship. What was really important to you? What did you want in a partner? And what do you want now? And are those things the same, or have they changed? And if they have they changed because of your partner's influence or because of your own life influences? I also want you to think about the compromises that you specifically have had to make in your relationship. And lastly, this is one of the things that I really want you to focus on is what are your personal goals? Not your goals with your partner, but your goals. Like when you think about yourself in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, what is it that you want to accomplish? Maybe it's moving to a new city on your own. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's, you know, investing in real estate. What is it that you want to do for yourself? Something else that's really heavy to consider is when you think of a committed partnership, what does that mean to you? What is your end goal with this relationship? Are you looking for marriage? Are you looking for someone to just, you know, have a committed relationship with? Like, what is it truly that you want? And while you're thinking about that, think about what qualities it is that you want your committed partner to have, whether that's your husband or your wife. When you think about your ideal partner, what qualities is it that they have? And make sure, like, separate it from your current partner. It's like when you think about your perfect soulmate match, what qualities is it that they have? Now, this is the meatiness of this entire exercise, and what this is meant to do is help gain clarity, or help you gain clarity on what it is that you want for yourself. And not only what you want, but it is what you expect and what you feel like you deserve. And if you've been honest with yourself, you've really been able to see how maybe your morals and values have changed and how drastically they've changed, whether that's for the better or for worse. But more importantly, you'll be able to see how well your current plan is able to project with your future plan. And you'll be able to see whether you're on track or if you're off track based off of your partner, because your partner matters. And I want you to know that, especially I am a woman, I'm speaking to other women or other people that identify as women, who your partner is really matters. Now, once you've had the chance to reflect on your past self, and you've had the chance to be present with your current self, and you've also had the chance to think about your future self, I think the next question is to address your doubts. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're already having doubts, but I really want to get into the nitty-gritty of those doubts. In your opinion, if your relationship were to continue at the rate that it's at, where would it be in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Do you look happy in that future version of your relationship? Yes or no? That is a very important question to ask yourself, okay? Now, thinking about the qualities that we listed earlier in your future partner and in your ideal partner, does your current partner resemble those same qualities and characteristics? And one of the questions that I really want you to ask yourself is, do you feel like you're settling? And I want you to answer this from a very critical point of view. Now, if one of your homegirls came up to you and was just like, hey, you know, I've been in this relationship for a very long time, things are going well, I'm happy most of the time, but I still have my doubts in this relationship, what would be the honest opinion you gave to her? Because to me, if one of my friends came up to me and said that, I'd be like, baby girl, there's a reason you're having these doubts. Like, you need to explore that intuition. Because let me tell you, your intuition is not lying. Your intuition is talking to you for a reason. It's up to us to really get in tune to how well we actually want to listen to ourselves. Because in one way or another, the truth, our intuition is going to tell us what we always knew. Now, doubts come from uncertainty. Uncertainty comes from the unknown, and the only way to gain clarity on the unknown is by asking questions. And this isn't by asking, and it could be asking your partner questions, but it's more importantly about asking yourself questions and figuring out what it is exactly that you want for yourself, your relationship, and your future. The only thing that we have absolute control of in this entire universe are our thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions. The more in tune you come with yourself, the better clarity you'll have on what it is that you want. And not only in your romantic relationships, but in many other relationships in your life as well. The last question that I want you to ask yourself is whether or not you feel like you need this person. And disclaimer, the best thing that you can do is tell a person that you don't need them. And if this comes from a very loving and humble way, you'll understand that when you feel like you don't need someone, it means you are choosing to be with that person every single day, because you know you can take care of yourself. You know you have what it takes to just essentially be able to do what it is that you want. And this person is just an extension of what you want. And that's really what it comes down to. I think that if a relationship is coming from a place of neediness instead of actually choosing to be with them, it can lead into very toxic and unhealthy behaviors. But again, all of my videos are opinion pieces, so take this with a grain of salt as you want, and just apply theories and philosophies that make sense for you. Now, once you've had the chance to truthfully ask yourself all of these questions, and I hope you have been very honest with yourself, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself whether or not your current partner aligns with who you are and who you want to be. Okay? So think about your present self and think about your future self, and does your current partner align with those goals? And if they do, amazing, I love that for you. And you can go ahead and ask your partner to these exact same questions and see what they say. And if they don't, if their current self doesn't align with your future self, then that's a different video, but we'll get into that later. Okay, but that's something that's a pill that you're going to need to swallow. And if they don't, that's another pill you need to swallow, and I think you have your answer. Either way, I hope you found this video extremely helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next week with another video. Also, I'm in Hawaii right now, so if you hear screaming and birds and all that stuff, it's because I'm in Hawaii. I'll see you guys later.